Low carb, high fat, or high protein. Finding the perfect macro balance for your body can be the key to effective fat loss. Today, we're breaking down the role of each macronutrient and debunking common myths about cutting carbs or fats. Stay tuned to discover how to tailor your diet for optimal results. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Weight Loss War podcast. I am Trevor, your host, and today we're going to be talking about mastering macros and finding the perfect balance for weight loss, for fat loss. But first, as always, we're going to start out with a quote. Today's is by John Wooden, who said, "Things work out best for those who make the best of how things work out." All right, so let's jump right in. Understanding macronutrients, which are, as we've learned before, carbohydrates, proteins, and fats, is essential for designing a diet that promotes fat loss. So we're going to kind of go through an overview really quick of the three areas, and then we're going to jump in and explain how they help. So the role of each in fat loss. First, we're going to start with carbohydrates. Carbs are often misunderstood, but they are the body's primary energy source. And when we choose complex carbs, such as whole grains and vegetables, this provides us with sustained energy and essential nutrients. Proteins are the next one, and they are crucial for building and repairing tissues. Protein also has a higher thermic effect, meaning the body burns more calories digesting protein. So adequate protein intake supports muscle maintenance during weight loss, and that is vital since muscle tissue will burn more calories at rest. That's something that we have talked about multiple times on this podcast as well. And then finally, fats. Fats are necessary for our hormone production, for nutrient absorption, and overall cell health. So we shouldn't eliminate fats from our diet entirely. But incorporating healthy fats, things like from avocados, nuts, and olive oil, these things can promote satiety and also support your metabolic functions. So balancing these macronutrients appropriately will ensure that our body is functioning optimally while we are facilitating fat loss. So jumping right into the next point, how do we determine what the right ratio for our macros should be? And really, the great thing about macros is there's no one size fits all when it comes to our macronutrient ratios. It varies with different things like our age, sex, activity level, our personal goals. They all influence what is best for us. But generally speaking, we all start about at a common place. Generally, it is 45 to 65% of our daily calories should go to complex carbs, 10 to 35% of daily calories should be proteins, and 20 to 35% of daily calories should be allotted to fats. Now, like we said before, it varies for each person. Something that I have tried to maximize when it comes to our patients here at the clinic, especially in my own life, is we need to make sure we are getting the proper amount of protein per day. The accepted general amount of protein we're supposed to get is between 0.7 and 1 gram of protein per pound of our goal weight. So for me, if I'm at 165, that's the weight I want to be, I need to plan on 0.7 times 165, which, what does that come out to be? 120, 125 or so grams of protein per day. Then you kind of split it up depending on the ratios between carbs and fats to make sure that we're not going over our calorie limit. Now, we already talked about kind of how to calculate your macros, so I'm not going to go over that again. I have it in a previous video. You should check it out. But you're going to calculate where you need to be for your resting metabolic rate, meaning if you just go about your normal activity, how many calories are you going to burn just to maintain your current body weight? After that, generally for fat loss, we subtract between 400 and 500 calories from that number. So if my resting metabolic rate is 2,000 calories per day, then we want to leave that or subtract 400 calories, 400 or 500 calories. Let's do 500 because it makes the ratios easier to work with. 500 calories from that, and I'm trying to stay around 1,500 calories per day. Then we go into macros, and allotting calories per macros so we aren't going over 1,500. Now, carbohydrates and proteins, both 1 gram of each. Sorry, that didn't make sense. 1 gram of carbohydrates and 1 gram of protein equals 4 calories. So if I want 40% of my calories, or whatever we decided I needed 125 grams of protein. You times 125 times 4, and that gives you 500. And so 500 of my calories for that day should be protein. Now, it depends more or less for you or me or whatever, but then you split that up the rest between carbs. So then you say, okay, 33% of my 1,500 needs to be protein. If we say 50%, so 750 need to be carbohydrates, that allows the remaining whatever percentage to be allocated for fats. So that's a quick breakdown. And really, that's how I calculate it, and how the fitness coach, Brian, that I work with and have a podcast with called the Be Him Fit podcast that we just started, and our first episode is going to come out on Monday. We have discussed at length how to figure it out, and that's what we do. We decide how much protein you need per day, and then we figure out the carbs and fats from there. But let's talk about myths really quick. I'm running long, as I am wont to do, but the first myth is that cutting carbs completely will lead to a sustainable fat loss. Obviously, reducing our refined carbohydrates can aid in weight loss, but eliminating carbs entirely will lead to energy deficits, nutrient deficiencies, and decreased performance. Remember, complex carbs are essential for fueling the body, especially during physical activity. And the second myth is all fats are bad and should be avoided. And we all know that that's not true. Not all fats are created equal. Trans fats and excessive saturated fats can be harmful, but unsaturated fats are beneficial and necessary for health. And incorporating those healthy fats supports brain function, hormone production, and can even aid in weight loss by promoting satiety. I know I said it before, but the balance of all of these macros is key, and that's what we need to do. We need to find the balance between our macros that work for us, that help us maintain our goals and lead to a healthy lifestyle. It's not about dramatic eliminations or extreme diets. We just need to understand the role each macronutrient has, and then find the balance that aligns with our body's needs and for our personal goals. Anyway, I'm long-winded. I'm not going to talk anymore for today. I appreciate all of you who listen. If you have any suggestions, any comments, anything that you want me to discuss in another episode, let me know. Leave a comment on this video or this podcast. Send me an email at trevor@ultimatemedicalweightloss.com, and I will catch you all later.